Titleist is the number one ball in golf. Yes, being number one is a number, and more players trust the Pro V1 or Pro V1X than all other golf balls combined. But being number one is more than a number. It's a mindset. It's a relentless mission to design and manufacture the best performing golf balls in the game, so you can chase whatever your number one is. Titleist, the number one ball in golf.
I've never seen anything like it before, and to attempt to hit the ball out of there is pure madness.
The winner of the gold medal and the champion golfer of the year is Cameron Smith.
This is the one that I've always wanted to win since I was a little kid, so it just feels pretty amazing to be able to get it done today.
It's amazing that it's my destiny to be the first Aussie to win. Just incredible.
Hello and welcome to episode 69 of Playing from the Tips, Golf Australia magazine's preview and tipping show covering the world of professional golf from all the important and perhaps slightly less important angles. Jimmy Emanuel here once again leading the so-called experts' journey that this week visits the PGA Tour's Rocket Mortgage Classic, the Italian Open on the DP World Tour, LPGA's Dow Championship and U.S Senior Open. First of our so-called experts, he's won awards for his podcasting and writing and now seemingly has a PGA Tour tournament named after him. Welcome, Rocket Roddy Murray.
Very nice. Thank you very much.
Yes. Is it an honour? That's an honour, surely.
Mortgage, though, kind of waters it down. It starts strong with Rocket, but then mortgage sort of waters it down. But yes, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Similarly, winning awards for a podcast that he's a host of, but not on the winning episode.
That's
welcome,
the kiss
Adrian
of death
Logue.
if I'm actually on the episode.
Logue, welcome.
Thank you.
Yours wasn't as elaborate an intro.
Wasn't as much to say.
We'll find a tournament one day that's named after you.
Yeah, I'm sure we can find one.
He's not working media.
No, it's true. Hard to get a tournament after you, yeah. Maybe your partner, Ewan Porter, can name a junior event after you.
Oh,
that'd be nice, wouldn't
it? Yeah.
As mentioned at the top, plenty of golf to get through this week. But before we do that, what did we all see as highlights and lowlights of last week's golf? Probably headlined for all by Aussie Amy Yang winning a major.
Yes.
100%. Who doesn't remember as a 16-year-old schoolgirl her winning the Australian Ladies Masters up there on the golf in a playoff? I can't remember the name of the girl that she beat, Catherine something, tall, blonde American girl in the playoff. But that was an extraordinary story at the time, and we expected this to have happened a couple of years after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's been close. She's just
Beautiful
got the
golf
most beautiful swing.
Great temperament. She's
Fabulous.
always thereabouts as well.
Tremendous wearer of a bucket hat.
Yeah,
absolutely. And hugely popular because she's genuinely one of the nicest people in the game. And that was just, you saw the players around the 18th green, and that always tells you when the players wait around the 18th green, you know that the players one is popular.
Yeah.
So,
what were our takeaways of Sahali as a second-time women's major venue?
Wow. I mean, it looked actually quite good on TV for a bit.
An excellent example of what it is, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just that what it is
yeah.
somewhat less appealing than other stuff.
It's as a women's major championship venue, I think it's okay. I don't think it could host a men's major again, though.
No, it's probably on the shorter side, and then the complaints from the men about the trees that encroach on the tees would probably be immense, I'd say.
Yeah. But, look, if they could just widen those playing corridors a little bit, then I think that look is kind of spectacular.
Yeah.
Incredible trees, aren't they? Like just a field of Christmas trees.
Beautiful trees. I don't know how they grow grass in there. It must be an environmental disaster, but it kind of pops on TV. But I'd just like to see wider corridors.
Speaking of environmental disasters, we had protesters as Scotty Scheffler and Tom Kim were wrapping the Travellers, where Scotty Scheffler wins yet again.
Oh, well, what about that?
And beats a close friend, Tom Kim. They travel a lot. They eat together a lot.
Is it an odd couple, or am I imagining it?
It could be, but I think everyone likes Tom Kim.
Yeah,
I think that's kind
might
of
be the Amy Yang of the PGA Tour, perhaps.
Yeah. His slow play today.
Well, he's got a few critics of that on the interwebs, but
was anybody? I probably wasn't surprised, I guess, but the vitriol towards the protesters from the golf community was off the charts. I mean, you can disagree with what they've done, but the basic premise is not evil, is it? That stop oil.
No, it was an absolute delight as well. To
kind of nice
little
to
exclamation point on the tournament.
Actually, Batia he was interviewed afterwards, and they said, "What were your thoughts?" And he goes, "I kind of feared for my life because I had no idea what was going on," which
You don't like to see a dangerous situation.
That's dangerous.
A bit like Bruce Reed. You could see Akshay snapping in half. If you
Well,
can. So that's probably fair enough. There's not much of it.
Great reference there, but yes.
Left-handed bowler too.
Ooh,
as well.
off.
That's such a good reference.
Yeah. But Scotty Scheffler wins again.
Some of your best work.
It's so hard to track how good he is with what happened the week before at Pinehurst and then shows up this week and does this. And
it's bizarre.
The PGA is still that unknown quantity. And
is he like a flat track bully?
I don't think that. I don't think you'd call Augusta National a flat track.
No. But
a lush track.
Yeah, maybe.
I think he's got a comfort level.
Yeah.
He's got golf courses.
I think it's the difference.
I'm worried about this with Nelly as well.
Yes.
And that's the other probably big takeaway from the week.
Yeah.
That's an unthinkable.
It was one of those things where she wasn't playing well. She was clearly feeling the pressure of she's so popular.
She's
and
nearly caught her now.
All the eyes on, and then everything went wrong as well. You know, she had a ball out of bounds on the second day that was out of bounds by a dimple, and it was back to the fairway to hit another one. It was one of those ones where you just watch it and it's hard to watch, to be honest.
Well, if you saw that score and didn't know anything else, you'd assume that she was injured.
Yeah,
because professional golfers who shoot over 80, generally it's an injury related. It's a number that does not appear on the scorecard, and particularly not Nelly Corder playing the way she's been playing.
Happened quite quickly for her.
Yeah.
It was Lexi Thompson today.
Extraordinary
had that front round of 43, and you could easily see how that could have deteriorated into an 80-something, but she turned it right around.
Yep.
I think it was Vijay Singh did the same thing here at Sahali. I'm pretty sure he shot 5 over the front 9 and 5 under the back 9 one day to shoot even par. Yeah. It was just Jekyll and Hyde golf. But it's why the game's interesting, though, isn't it? Yeah. Not every week, but almost every week, something happens that you think to yourself, I couldn't have imagined that happening. And I've been following the game closely for the best part of 30 years, and yet that was an unthinkable scenario. It happens constantly, so it's the interest of the game.
Speaking of unthinkable, we had a pretty good tipping week last week as well. So 4 top tens and a win in the form of Tyrrell Hatton by myself at Live Golf Nashville.
Yeah, well done.
So that takes us to 14 wins and 83 top tens so far in 2024, numbers that will perhaps be unrivaled in whatever category we choose, but we'd like to remind the tax office are not part of our end-of-year earnings.
It's really proving out, I think, that golf betting, if you're stupid enough to bet off of what we're tipping here, top tens is an okay
top 10,
bet. Winners is a mugs game.
Winners is...
It's the same as a golf career.
Little public service
My man
announcement.
Xander couldn't make a birdie on Sunday. He should have been right there in there. He should have been, but just couldn't make a birdie on Sunday. For what reason? It just doesn't make any sense. So, the top tens is absolutely.
Let's get stuck into this week, and for no particular reason, we're going to start with the PGA Tour and the Rocket Mortgage Classic. No surprises in Sponsor Watch that Rocket Mortgage is a mortgage lender.
Okay.
What I didn't actually realise, though, is it used to be Quicken Loans. Quicken Loans used to sponsor tournaments, including, I think, Tiger's event at one stage.
Yes, they did too.
So they quickened like all the way up to a rocket.
They quickened too far, and then the rocket took off, and then they renamed. So
Max Homer's first win, the Quicken Loans National, perhaps?
Well, I think the Quicken Loans was also the Wells Fargo. I can't remember. But
too many banks.
It might not be a signature event, major, or any of those other things that get higher interest, but there is some tidbits and history that's kind of interesting. On a roll of Ricky Fowler, defending champion. He followed Tony Finau, who followed Cam Davis, Bryson DeChambeau, and Nate Lashley, who, when he won the first year, was the last man into the field. So it's a pretty good winners list for a new event.
John Evans backed Nate Lashley that week at something like 800 to 1 or something.
Oh, wow.
He still talks about it today as the one bet that covers all the other bets for the other 2 years.
Played at Detroit Golf Club, which is, without question, sort of the high flyers of the Detroit area. It's 36 holes designed by Donald Ross, 17 holes of the North Course, and 1 of the South are used for the tournament. Not exactly sure why that is. Tree line sort of challenge with interesting green complexes on a flat side is kind of the story of the week. History of the place is interesting, though. Donald Ross's brother, Alec, was the pro there for 31 years. Ooh. He was followed by Horton Smith, who, of course, won the first ever Masters.
Yeah.
And then 1953 PGA Championship winner Walter Bacchimo followed him.
Well done, Wally.
So,
do we know anything else about Horton Smith? Does anybody know any other fact about Horton Smith other than that he won the first Masters?
We just heard one. But.
No, not at all. No, a little bit, but nothing that's that interesting. Also found on the website of Detroit Golf Club, they play 2 events here in their men's calendar called the Whistler and the Ringer. I just found that interesting.
Okay.
I don't know what a whistler and a ringer is, but there you go. They play him at Detroit Golf Club. In terms of the field, Fowler back to defend, definite sort of headliner category. There's also Will Zalatoris as he continues to come back, Francesco Molinari, and then Aussies, we've got Aaron Baddeley, Cam Davis, Harrison Endicott, and Minwoo Lee. Because Minwoo falls in that category of not in the signature events, but still playing all the majors and stuff, needs to kind of get moving in these ones to move up. Yeah.
So very close.
Speaking of lift, why don't you lift first, Logue, and give us a tip?
I really like this guy's performance this week, actually, Akshay Bhatia. I think he's a standout class player from this field.
Nate Lashley, also a left-hander, so it bodes well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure Nate Lashley's left-handed.
Better check that. There
Yeah,
might be an
better
edit
check that.
required.
I'm not
there.
sure about that.
One of us has got to be wrong.
I'll check while Rod tips.
I'm going to go with Aaron Rye. Tied 9th here last year, and he's just a sneaky, solid golfer. Look,
The two gloves guy.
yeah, I'm not sure he's a winner. That might be the downside, but he's a very good guy. He was there and thereabouts at the
How do you
US
feel
Open.
about the
and-
two gloves? Is that
terrible. That's no good. Might as well have iron head covers. What are you doing?
I believe
Wake up to yourself.
I believe he does, actually.
Like you joking?
Yeah.
Oh, good Lord, Aaron.
Yeah.
Can I change my tip? No,
No.
I'm only kidding.
But I will amend that Nate Lashley is right-handed. I'm thinking of someone else.
Tied 9th last year here, and he's just a solid player. He's one of those guys who's going to bob up and win a tournament at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually will be this week, but look out for him this week. He played it quite well at the US Open, if I'm not mistaken, too. I kept seeing his head bob up and his name bob up at the US Open.
Yeah,
You can play that golf
you're right.
course and last week's golf course, yeah.
I am going to go for the man that Logue says needs to lift, and I'm going to go with Minwoo Lee.
okay? Wow.
Well, he's in this. He's done this before, where he's playing a tour where he feels like he's probably above a category that he's falling into, but he has to prove it. He did that when he won the Scottish Open. He did that when he won the Vic Open,
true.
and he comes up through these things. So
It's time to do
It's
that.
kind of time.
Yeah,
he's been
only got- exactly. He wins one. He's in all the big events, and that's where he wants to be. That's
Correct.
the sandpit he wants to play in, and he's just got to get there.
Correct.
So I agree with
where
you.
it should be.
Absolutely. Let's move along, and it's National Open time. The Italian Open presented by Regione Emilia Romagna and Logue. You're going to tell us that, but what else would it be called apart from the Italian Open?
Well, just so our Italian listeners know what we're talking about.
They could be as offended as some of their other international listeners.
It could, they would know it as the Open d'Italia.
Yes.
Regione Emilia Romagna is it's a region, the Emilia Romagna region in northern Italy. So it's the Tourism Commission or something that's bringing this tournament to us. It's known for its medieval cities, seaside resorts, and rich gastronomy, which is something a doctor might be able to help them with. The capital is Bologna. Some facts about Bologna.
Okay.
This is a little bit of just indulge me a little sidebar here. It's known as the Fat City for its rich cuisine, and also known as the Learned City because it's the home of the oldest university in the world, the University of Bologna, and it's known as the Red City for its red-tiled rooftops. But more recently, the name Red City has been co-opted to reference the leftist politics of the region.
Okay.
Political hotbed, Italy.
Indeed.
Fantastic stuff.
It, of course, is the home of bolognese sauce, which, a little fact for you, is strictly in that area served with tagliatelle pasta. And to serve it with spaghetti is viewed upon as it's quite frowned upon.
I like that fact. That's nice.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
And again, in the world of cuisine, perhaps a little less of a significant contribution, the Bologna sausage is another thing that they're famous for.
Bologna, as I think it's probably known.
Bologna, or
American
we know it
region.
as Devon.
Yep.
So you might know it, Rod, as the school sandwich meat.
Yeah.
That you put
I'm from
on
a
your,
mixed family.
on your
Who would have
little-
known it as both?
Well, I'm sure you made yourself the odd Devon sandwich when you were going to school.
I reckon my mum
over the last
made
6 months.
1,000
Over
Devon
the last 6
sandwiches when I was going to school.
And it just delightfully sort of curls up at the edges and blackens a little bit and
bit of
dries
tomato
out by the
sauce on
time
the
lunch
top of
comes
it.
around.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, tomato
Sip of the
sauce on
bread.
it.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
wonderful stuff.
Anyway, enough about Bologna. The Adriatic Golf Club is where this is being played at. It's in the general area of Bologna. It's not actually in Bologna. It's sort of off to the coast.
It's Italy. It doesn't matter.
But it's definitely in the Emilia-Romagna area. And it's quite close to the coast, and it's in a resort sort of area. It's a resort golf course, but it has no significant water views that I can tell. And that's because it is unbelievably flat, and it's a little bit inland, and it has nothing. I had a look at a lot of photos of this place, and there's not much information about it online, but it has nothing to be said for it. It's one of the worst looking tournament
It's a
venues
golf
I've ever
course.
seen. It's a place to hit golf balls, and I think that's about all that can be said for it.
Something to be said, though, isn't there, for just hitting golf balls in the northern part of Italy?
Yeah,
And a golf course
for
like
sure. That's what people
Absolutely.
People definitely go to the Adriatic Golf Club for that. The Australians in the field: Jason Scrivener, David Micheluzzi, and Hayden Barron. I note Laurie Cantor is confirmed in the field this week.
Having tried to fox you last week.
But I'm still a bit hurt.
Gun shy?
Yeah, so I'm going to bypass Laurie Cantor and go with a European Tour stalwart and local Italian Matteo Manacero is my pick.
Thereabouts this week too.
Yeah, he was very close.
Yeah, it was. I woke up in the middle of the night and watched a bit of the final round. It was actually a pretty exciting finish. And he wasn't unlucky, but gee, he's close. He's very close to being back to Matteo Manacero. Of
5 tour wins and yeah. He's top 20, I think, in the DP or the race to Dubai.
He's legitimately back.
Like he's
absolutely.
He's back to
Without
playing.
question.
When he's not winning, he's playing decent golf, finishing top 10, top 15. So he's back on the terrific to see.
Rod, a tip?
I'm going to stick with the Italians as well. As I said, I watched the end of that. Guido Migliozzi was extremely impressive because he did not have his best stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he will lift this week being in his home country and go back to back.
Nice.
And I love the name. And he was the one who hit the shot at the French Open, was he not? Across the water with the 3-wood to the. You got to love anybody who's prepared to take that on, even though they're a professional.
That Italian flair.
Stupid thing to do,
Yeah.
but he did it anyway.
Yeah.
They pulled it off. So go Guido.
I'm going to go with a name that slipped through Logue's players to watch, and Patrick Reed.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pegging
Chasing
up there.
points.
Chasing points, I would imagine.
Although it might just be money because he used to play the European Tour quite a lot before he
he's
went
got
to
a
live. He loves the
lifetime
cash.
exemption.
He
doesn't
was
the
made a life member, or
I think
whatever.
all major winners are they not?
There is a category for
of
them.
If you've won a major, you can just go get a car.
And he played a lot around these sort of parts as well. So
Absolutely.
he's still a very competitive player and very impressive player around this sort of place as well, where it's not going to be sharp and you need to learn too much.
Maybe
So
he just likes Bologna sausage.
perhaps, yes.
Your golf ball is the most technologically advanced, or it's not. Your golf ball is either the most consistent, or it's not. It's the most trusted, or it's not. The fact is, it's either Titleist, the best performing golf ball in the world, or it's not. Prove it for yourself. Titleist, the #1 ball in golf. What will you play?
Next, it is Team Golf and the LPGA Tour. And Rod, you're all over the Dow Championship.
I am now, since you found the field, which proved extremely difficult. How many text messages did we have late this afternoon?
There was a lot of
the
chasing.
teams?
There was a list. There was a field list, but it doesn't.
That doesn't tell you what
match
you
up
need
the
to know.
partner
No.
list.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to ourmidland.com.
Yeah, shout out to the Midland Daily News who had the list of partners out there.
And shout out to you for finding it, because Logan and I we've given up. We'd stopped looking, we'd stopped Googling, we were done with it. So that was terrific to find. Look, I actually think this is what the PGA Tour should think about. This is the perfect tournament to have the week after a major.
Yeah.
Bit of team golf. It'll be nice and relaxed, bit of fun. The players get to play together. They choose their own partners, and it'll be fun to watch after what was a terrific week at Sahali, I think. So good on them. Sponsor watch, Dow. They're a materials company. How about this? They invented the silicon that made transatlantic flight possible. I don't know how they did it. That's a hell of a thing to have on your resume, isn't it? Transatlantic flight, international flight? Yeah, that was us. Without us, doesn't happen. Pretty amazing. So known as Dow Corning, Dow, whatever. Massive sort of a company. And clearly, this is their home base in Michigan.
In the movie The Graduate, I'm pretty sure that's what they were talking about when he said to get into plastics.
Oh, really? Yeah, plastics. That's somebody decided if we could make plastics that had the properties of glass. That's how it all started. And so they started investigating.
Dow time.
Yeah. And they merged with Corning, who were a glass-making company. Midland Country Club in Michigan, 6,400 yards. Course looks predominantly flat, fairly typical of that northeast US golf look. It's not quite the northeast being Michigan, but it's not far away. It's that kind of look. It's got shades of Sahali, but it's nowhere near as claustrophobic as Sahali. There's a lot of big trees. Look, it's a as you pointed out, it's a beautiful aesthetic. This one looks a bit wider and a bit more playable. A lot of trees on the inside corners of doglegs, it appears to be, where it's really going to sort of block players out and whatnot. Being that it's a team event, foursomes, four-ball, I think, is the format, similar to the Zurich Classic. So is there a better team format?
Not really. Not for this kind of golf.
Kind of turns into a bit of a joke if you go with the scramble, doesn't it?
It's good. It just, again, the problem with these attempts at regular tour events doing team things is just they're two-player teams. And I think it's almost impossible to track what's going on with two-player teams. They come together, there's no tribalism to it. No. And then they split apart again, and who knows what's going to happen next year.
Jin Young Ko played with Minjee Lee last year. The year before, Minjee played with somebody else. So, you're right.
So
it
just lacks the tribalism. Even the live team thing is better.
Yeah.
Go smash.
Look, there's some areas of short grass around the greens, though it's mostly sort of thick. I reckon we'll see a decent test. We'll see some interesting and entertaining golf. And most importantly, we'll see the players relaxed, which is always nice to see. Again, this is a great example of taking a tournament to a smaller market where it's really embraced and does something really important for the local community. It's on the local news every day. They're like, well, we got the field from the local paper. Yeah. The TV guys are out there doing their stuff from it. So, look, it's leaving the golf aside that we'll see this week, it does a really important job. The signature hole's an island green, the par 3 18th, which just makes you go, really? Doesn't it? I don't know. It's not even a particularly interesting island.
Does it have a grandstand backstop behind it?
No, they don't.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
It's actually an island.
No, it's actually an island. It's all kind of grandstands to the side.
There's no building on the island itself like they did with the LPGA a couple of years ago. Tends to be pretty low scoring, minus 23, minus 26 in 2022, so you'll see lots of birdies. I think it'll be fun viewing. And I'm going to pick, from left field, Esther Henselite and Gabby Ruffles.
Yep, I saw that. Nice. I saw that team. Interesting.
I think Esther Henselite stuck her nose in the frame a little bit in the final round at Sahara. She was never a chance of catching Amy Yang, I don't think. But
there were some interesting names in the...
It was a really good international field. I really thought it was a terrific week.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Shout out also to Kari Webb and Sarah Jane Smith, who are teaming up this week. Yes. That'll be good fun. Just good fun for both of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also two absolute competitors as well, so I wouldn't want to...
Well, they should adopt the Spieth and Reed tactic of trying to beat each other and through that competition, beating the competition, which was the Spieth and Reed secret at the Ryder Cup. They didn't like each other, so they were just trying to beat each other.
Logue?
I quite like... For this format... I think Rose Zhang is someone I'd always gravitate to just because of, the college golf that she played, and she likes team stuff, and she's up for that. And particularly partnered with Alexa Pano, who is also not far removed from college golf.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
I think sort of likes that format. So.
You're always the more recent, converts to professional golf are always a better idea in this sort of stuff. I'm going with Celine Boutier and Yuka Sasso because they're just elite.
They're both guns.
And that is a combination. That's a ball-striking combination.
Yeah, and it's a good for foursomes, actually.
Neither one with one skill that's way out of proportion with the other. So
underlap.
Yeah.
Ooh,
and just
underlap.
And also just steely competitors too. Yeah. There's going to be no apologies in that too.
No,
in that group.
Never.
Might be a lot of smiling.
Never apologise, but that too will never apologise. Yeah. So yes. Finally, it's another week with some form of major championship golf. This time, the U.S. Senior Open at the historic Newport Country Club, which you may or may not know hosted the first ever U.S. Amateur, first ever U.S. Open, found in Rhode Island. Theodore Havemeyer was a co-founder of this venue, crucial in tournament golf in the U.S., and who is the U.S. Amateur Trophy is named after.
Tiger won one of his amateurs there, if I'm not mistaken.
He sure did. He won the 95 U.S. Amateur there. Annika Sorenstam won a U.S. Women's Open here. It was a Donald Ross design originally that Tillinghast redid. It's fantastic. It's kind of... Couldn't play a men's major there anymore. Senior major, it's perfect. One of the initial 5 USGA clubs and all that sort of stuff.
Into your architecture, watch this week.
Exactly. It's got the architecture stuff, it's got the history, it's got everything. It's kind of perfect for an over 50s major. So that's what they're getting here. Usual sort of players headline. There's all the World Golf Hall of Famers like Ernie Els, Retief Goosen, and everyone you can imagine of that ilk that is going to show up. Padraig Harrington won last week, so he's obviously entering in form. Richard Bland won the last senior major and obviously is playing live golf, and when he showed up was very competitive, beyond competitive in the senior PGA. And there's a huge Aussie contingent. So Stuart Appleby, Greg Chalmers, Richard Green, Mark Hensby, Rod Pampling, Cam Percy, Michael Wright, and on senior golf debut, Matt Goggin.
Outstanding. Fast forward 30 years. What will our representation be in the US Men's Senior Open? Who are the players today? Would it be as impressive a cast as what you've just read out there, I wonder?
30 years. I
We're
can't
in
see
that-
Adam Scott playing senior.
Minwoo, Cam Davis.
It's going to be interesting.
Jason
I mean,
Day
we're in
won't be
that,
playing.
He won't be playing.
We're in that
60.
transitional period of guys who made a lot of money playing. I mean, Stuart Appleby was always right up there on the career money list when he was playing. Whereas you guys like Greg Chalmers, didn't ever really cement as much time on the PGA Tour. Richard Green played in Europe for a long time. Hensby was up and back and all that sort of stuff. Pampling made a lot of money. Obviously, they still love playing golf. I think that's a big part of it as well. That in your forward-looking sort of thing, some of them still just love being competitive, but whether or not it's enough to get them out and play.
Adam Scott's not going to play senior golf. Tiger's not going to play senior golf.
Tiger might play senior golf.
I
We don't
really
know.
doubt that. I doubt that.
I don't know.
I don't see it.
The fact that he still keeps pegging up in majors shows that he's the competitive animal that everyone
Even
knows.
he has to be starting to see that the writing's on the wall.
I actually thought, I mean, this is way off topic, but I actually thought he just looked like he needed more reps. That he actually
He does,
seems
but he can't
okay.
get them. But he can't get them. He can't play enough weeks to do it, and you can't turn up at that level 4 times a year and expect to contend. It's just not possible.
Because of his leg, he can't?
Yeah, it's his leg.
But that's surely going to get
It's been
bit
4
stronger
years.
by this time.
3
Has
years?
it been 4 years?
3 years, 21? February 21?
Oh, he might be.
No,
20? Year after he won the Masters.
It just
he played the
didn't
President's
seem-
Cup here, and then he smashed his leg up in 2020. So
He
it's been
didn't
4
seem
years.
to have
Wasn't as
walking
bad
problems this time. It was just lack of reps, I thought. But
his swing's completely changed.
yeah, it's a little bit. There's hold off on it now as well.
It's all upper body.
that leg doesn't drive through the action very well. So
And I think it probably hurts more than we realise, even when he's not limping.
I think so.
Hurting more
I
than
think
we
so,
realise.
yeah.
And you just can't play in that. And you just can't do it 6 times a year and expect to continue.
all right, let's get a tip at the U.S. Senior Open. I'm going to lead the charge, and I'm going to go with Tongchai Jaidee.
Oh, nice. That'd be a fantastic story.
One
That'd
of
be
my
Amy
favourite
Yang-like.
players of all time, Tongchai,
Yeah.
and playing pretty good out there. Like he's had some success. He's been playing okay lately, so why not?
Didn't he win something recently? He won the.
He won last year. He won on
Didn't
the.
he win in Thailand on the regular tour?
Yeah, I
recently,
think yeah.
is he ex-army as well?
Yeah, he was a paratrooper.
Paratrooper, yeah.
Yeah, just
And a power lifter, maybe?
Yeah.
no, I don't.
I think it's
He's strong, like nuggety, but ironically not a very long hitter at all.
No,
Dead
very
straight.
straight.
Yeah.
But that'll be. It's still a USGA event.
got-
As much as it's a senior
Yeah.
USGA event, they still make them USGA
It'll be
events.
firm greens and
Yeah, exactly. So Tongchai for me.
Indeed. Well, I'm going with 4-time senior major winner Kenny Perry.
Nice.
I'm a big Kenny Perry guy.
He doesn't play much anymore. No, because his wife's battling, I believe, a long-term illness. And so he spends most of his time looking after her, so he doesn't get out and play much. But played last week. But
it still takes it outside a mile, I'm sure, on the way back.
still
Drops
hits,
it inside, just hits that.
hits a 10-yard draw and calls it a fade.
Turns
Yep.
back and turns through.
Yeah,
Turns back,
the most
keeps it-
repeatable action of all time. It is
Bruce
magnificent stuff.
Litsky-like. Okay. I just don't see how you can go past Podrake. Podrake can still be competitive on the PGA Tour, I think.
Yeah.
He's striping it. He hits it miles. It's all right. I'll get some paper and clean that up in a moment. For those wondering, Logs just spilled some beer on the table. Well done. At this time of the morning, that's very disappointing.
Podrake, I think Podrake genuinely probably has a battle within himself as to whether or not to go and peg it up on the DP World Tour or PGA Tour instead of the Champions Tour.
He looks as happy playing golf now as at any time in his life. Maybe happier. He's beautifully slipped into the media thing. He loves the attention. He's doing his YouTube channel, and he's just Huggy told me Harrington rang him, he said, a few weeks ago. He was talking to he was walking his dog, or maybe Huggy had rung him expecting to get 2 minutes as you would. He texted him, have you got a minute? 45 minutes later, Huggy's like, well, I got to go. Podrake's still walking the dog and chewing his ear off about golf. I can't think of a top player that you could think that might happen with in this modern era. I just can't think of it. We'd chat to a journo for that.
Fascinating, interesting mind.
It's a really interesting character.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Really interesting.
Brilliant stuff. Well, that'll bring us to the end of episode 69 of Playing from the Tips. Roddy, are you going to head over to the Rocket Mortgage and get a plaque or anything? Huggy, speaking of Huggy, you got a plaque at the Memorial? Do you get a plaque at the Rocket Mortgage?
I'm no Huggy.
No,
Trust me. Not in that class. No, I don't like to fly.
No, I know you don't. Yeah. That interesting for a man we've decided is named Rocket.
Yeah,
He doesn't like.
yeah.
Well, I think that really suits. Anyway. Logue, despite spilling things, surely you'll be on another overseas jaunt soon. Surely we've been home for about 2 weeks.
A few weeks away. Yeah, I'm going to the Open.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And you can, of course, follow all these events and more on the Golf Australia magazine website, golfaustralia.com.au, and get out and pick up a copy of the July issue of the print magazine. Jason Day's on the cover ahead of the Open at Royal Troon, which Mike Clayton sounds off on in a very interesting Mike Clayton way. There's also features on Empower Golf, Colin Morikawa, Gerringong Golf Course, the Lakes, and the Hunter Valley. Thank you for listening, and we will be back next week.